I chose job hazard assessment for network administrators. Network administrators work for many different organizations. I chose Kinder Morgan in downtown Houston, and they work 40 hours a week, often working weekends and evenings, and will occasionally work 24 or 48-hour shifts to update network systems. I talked to a network administrator, and he said that they've had 5 injuries in the last 5 years. 1 was a slip and fall due to wet floors. 3 were smashed fingers or toes from dropped servers due to not using the server lift. And 1 fall into the raised floor because the person moved the tile out of the way to access the cables underneath and then stepped into the hole where the tile was that they just removed. There were no lost days from these injuries. I did some research on common office injuries, and the most common across all office jobs would be slips and falls, strains, repetitive use injuries such as using the mouse or typing, cuts, mostly paper cuts or box cuts. There's also collisions and crashes if you're traveling to and from the office, and then illnesses within the office. Office environmental hazards specific for network administrators would be eye strain. They work off of multiple screens for 8 hours to 10 hours a day. There's repetitive motions from typing and mouse movement, dragging information from one screen to another or from one spreadsheet to another. There's sometimes a noisy environment. The server room isn't loud, it's at 78 decibels, but it's a constant electrical hum that sometimes is annoying to workers. There could be falls from moving the raised flooring in the server room, and again, communicable diseases because they are in cubicles in close quarters. The recommended controls for this office setting would be ergonomic keyboards and mouse controllers, desk chairs to fit individual heights and weights for comfort since they're sitting for long periods of time. There's also headsets to eliminate background noise and neck strain. Cable management across floors and under cubicles would help with slips, trips, and falls, as well as regular maintenance of the flooring. Keeping the hallways and walkways clear of objects and debris would also help with slips, trips, and falls. Here I have a diagram of ergonomic seating for an office for different heights of people and ways that they could be made more ergonomic. There's also an example of the cubicles at Kinder Morgan's office in downtown Houston. Other recommended controls would be timers to get up and move to encourage physical health for the office workers, frequent cleaning of cubicles to prevent communicable diseases, annual training for slips, trips, and falls, and then hand washing to prevent communicable illnesses and hazard signs for wet or damaged areas. The server rooms are cold and they have electrical running under the floors, and so there's a 78 decibel, 800 hertz constant hum in the room. So foam earplugs are provided to help workers to focus while they're installing the servers. They'll often bring personal jackets and keep them in the server room for those prolonged installations to prevent cold injury. To prevent back injuries, there's carts and dollies to move heavy equipment from the loading dock up to the server room. A two-man lift is often required for some equipment, and there's yearly training for lifting techniques. Server jack and lift to slide the servers into the racks is also available for network administrators. There is a halon system for electrical fires in the server room, and there are detectors on the ceiling, and then the halon system has caps over the heads so that they're not accidentally bumped. There's also a fire extinguisher if needed, alarms, and by the exit door there's a button that says push to open. That button temporarily halts the halon system to allow escape from the room. There's a raised floor in the server room for cable management and to protect access from the electrical underneath the room. On the picture on the left, you can see that the floor is raised about a foot so that that cable management electrical can run under there without having to do more construction on the building. There are cones provided to block off areas so that people don't step into the holes when raised tiles are moved. The main chemical in the halon suppression system is trifluorobromethane. It's a non-flammable gas used in fire suppression systems. Its main exposure routes are inhalation, skin, and eye contact from the liquid. It can cause dizziness, cardiac arrhythmias, and the liquid can cause frostbite. It affects the central nervous system and the heart. The personal protection would be from your skin for the frostbite, eyes from frostbite, and frostbite wash and skin protection are provided. First aid would be for frostbite or for respiratory supply. If someone were to have to enter the area to rescue somebody, they would need a respirator. Nobody could tell me exactly what the parts per million are for that halon suppression system because it hasn't been used in a very long time. So I included the information for all of the possible types of respirators for a halon system. Emergency or planned entry for IDLH would be a self-contained breathing apparatus with, of course, skin protection. For escape, it says any air purifying full-face respirator, chin style, back or front. Organic vapor canister would work. Then there are my references.